Greetings, everyone. I'm Bryon Smith, and welcome to Enlighten, Empowered, Evolved. Hope everybody's doing well. Wait, I believe everybody's doing well. I have faith that everyone's doing well, and because everything is just unfolding perfectly, even if it doesn't seem like it, even if you can't see it at first, and we can always learn something from everything. I am excited today. Again, I know you always hear me say this, but I get so many extraordinary people. I'm always excited. I talk to them prior to this segment and I just get more excited. I read their bios, I get more excited. So I'm excited again. I have a very special, extraordinary guest today. And I'm just, like I said, excited. And her name is Anna Kowalska. I wanted to make sure I said that correctly.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you. So before she starts talking to us and telling us more about herself, her gifts, her passions, her just purpose, projects, whatever it is that she's going to share with us, I'm going to tell you a bit about her. So Anna guides spiritual women entrepreneurs in creating their sacred success in alignment with divine purpose and prosperity. After creating traditional success in life and having it disappear for the third time, Anna decided to put all her focus and energy into discovering and living her soul purpose, co-creating her success with the source. Mm-hmm. Along the way, she immersed herself in numerous spiritual, metaphysical, mind, and body modalities, bringing it all together to activate and unite the creators of the new earth. Anna is devoted to creating a world of harmony, unity, purpose, and prosperity within and without for all of life through new earth leaders. Wow.
That sounds good.
How are you doing today, Anna?
I'm excited, Lute.
Yes, so am I. And your energy is just contagious. So it's true that the energy we give off, others can feel it. And I can feel it over here through this platform, through the internet. It's reaching over here. It's making my light shine brighter and everything. So
awesome.
Let's just get right into it. Let's just talk about, like I said, prior to this segment, whatever you want to talk about, but I can just kind of start it off. So you guys, spiritual women entrepreneurs in creating their sacred success. How did that, in alignment with divine purpose and prosperity, how did that come about?
Okay, awesome question. Good place to start. First of all, thank you for being excited, because excited is a great energy to be in, like no matter what. Like, I don't care what we're excited about, just get excited, right?
Yes.
Right? I love it.
And thankful. I'm just so thankful. And you know what, before you start, I forgot to say, and I've been saying this lately, that I am so thankful that I believe that time is our most precious asset besides our health, because you never can get that time back. You only have a certain amount of time. And for you to spend some of your time here, it's just, I'm so thankful. And we're creating history right now. We can look back on this years from now and say, wow, this is what I was doing at that time. And the exciting part about it is that this video, once it's uploaded to YouTube, it'll be here forever. And we'll motivate and help people when we're sleeping, no matter what. It'll just be
amazing.
People have access to it. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm just so thankful and excited. And
it's amazing. So let me play off of what you just said, okay? Because I think we live in this really exciting time for humanity, right? Like, the new earth is being birthed. I don't know how much you talk about that with your clients, but we're in this like transformational time for humanity. We haven't been here for thousands of years, that humanity all of a sudden is changing trajectory. This is from like a high level spiritual talk, right? But tangibly in the world, there is stuff going on, right? Like there is some serious stuff going on. So for you to create these videos for people that literally they can tune into, and when stuff's going down, they can say, hold on, I feel whatever I feel. And I don't necessarily, I want to shift. They can come to your YouTube channel, right? And tune into any of the conversations, and immediately their energy can shift just like that. So what a gift that is, you know? So
yes.
right back at you. Thank you for doing it.
Yes, it's amazing. Because, you know, that's what I always like to relay to people, is that just be yourself, your authentic self. And that's what I created this platform for, is to showcase and highlight just people from everywhere that are just raising the vibration of the planet, enhancing lives, and even if it's just their own, because even through your own, that right there, when people see that, it motivates them. So just, there's so many ways. And like you said, once this is uploaded and with the social media, it's just amazing. Anyone from all the corners of the world can link right into it. And that's just so beautiful. Yeah. But let's get into it. I want to hear how you got into motivating these women.
Yeah. So, okay, going all the way back really quickly, I grew up in Poland, which was a communist country at a time when I was growing up. So it's a lot of rules, regulations, authority, socialism, you know, all of that. And I grew up in that environment. So I learned very quickly how to be a good girl, how to behave. I learned very quickly that there are people who set rules and people who follow rules. And there are very few people who set rules. Everybody else follows them. Government makes choices for us, not to get into that whole conversation. But I just grew up in a lot of that, you know, authority comes from the outside conversation. And at 16 and a half, I came to America. And all of a sudden, my whole world changed because I was exposed to possibility. Right. And it really is like people who live here, I've been here for 30 years. And part of me is starting to take for granted what this country still offers. And I know there is, you know, stuff going on, but this country still offers a lot of opportunity. So all of a sudden I was exposed to possibility, opportunities, different ways of living. And very quickly, my life just turned into this beautiful, and I didn't even know it there, but things just started falling into place very easily and quickly. And in my 20s, I started to become wealthy. All of a sudden, I became a millionaire, and that was very unfamiliar to me. So hindsight, I can look back and I say, okay, that's what was going on. But at the time, it literally was uncomfortable. So I said, okay, well, this doesn't work. So I got rid of all of it. And how doesn't matter. It literally just, I walked away from all of it. I recreated it to a certain degree, second time. And again, I'm like, something's off, something's not right. This doesn't work. Dismantled it. For the third time, when I recreated tangible wealth. Now, this is coming from a girl who grew up in Poland during communism. Just to frame it a little bit, for those people who don't understand, there was a time when I was growing up when literally government rationed food. They would give you little tiny coupons, and if you had a coupon for a pound of sugar, you could buy a pound of sugar. And if you didn't, no matter how much money you had, you couldn't buy sugar. This was for anything, literally. I mean, I remember growing up where people would line up at the store and they would ask each other, hey, what's coming? What's coming? They wouldn't know what's coming, but they knew a delivery was coming. So they would line up for days, take turns in line, just so they could buy whatever was coming, even if they didn't want it, because they could trade it or sell it. But government controlled, and it was all state of war. So government controlled the everything, right? There was a time in my life when I was growing up where the government overnight decided to instate inflation. So if you had a certain amount of money in the bank today, you woke up tomorrow and the money was worth a tiny fraction of it, and you had no control over that. Wow. Literally. So it sounds like a story, but it like I grew up with that. To me, that's all I knew. Right. So coming to this country and all of a sudden, you know, being a millionaire and having access to anything I want, not having to, having so many choices that it literally makes your mind spin, right? was very different and new.
Yeah.
So when I had access to that, all of a sudden I'm like, but I have all of this. There were, of course, some parts of me that were uncomfortable with having it because my family didn't, or people in back at home didn't. But there were also parts of me that realized that having all of that just isn't all that it's cut out to be. There was part of me that's missing. So that's when I started to ask questions. And all of a sudden, spirituality found me. I grew up Catholic. So I had my knowledge of spirituality was the angry dude in the sky with a long white beard. That tells you if you're a good girl or a bad girl. If you're a good girl, you get good things. And if you're a bad girl, I don't know what happens, right? Like I grew up in a very Catholic country. So starting to learn about, right?
Yeah, I can resonate with that because it's exactly how I grew up. And not to
tell me.
cut your story short, but same thing, same things like that, where I started to actually listen to this voice that was talking to me, God, the universe inside of me. And that's when I started to ask questions, like you said. And that right there is just beautiful because that connects a lot of people have that same narrative that they're going through something, something just doesn't feel right. And not to get too far off of it, but that's why one of the main things I ask people, especially when I can tell that they're deeply into the religious aspect. I don't ever try to tell them that something is wrong with their religion or anything like that. I just ask them a question and I say, you don't have to answer me here, but answer it to yourself later on. Are you really at peace and balanced and in harmony with what you're following and the answers that you have right now? Or is it something that was just that you think it's just the right thing to do because it's tradition or someone else told you, or you think this is the right way? I mean, just ask yourself those questions and don't fear to ask yourself those questions.
Yeah, that's really great because you're right. I mean, I think it's really great to have a background in religion because it gives you access to what it's like to have faith or believe in something, right? So I am at the point where I can be grateful for that. But for many years, I wouldn't even say God. I literally wouldn't even say God because when I said God, to me, it was the angry guy in the sky, period.
Right. That's what you affiliated it with. That's what I thought too for a long time. And it felt uncomfortable to say that. And then I would say universe or source or spirit or, but now I can say that because I know that in my, what I'm saying is that it's the same as saying universe to me, God. Now I can say it's just,
Yeah, God. I went through the phase where I would use word goddess because I said, well, I can believe that. I can get behind that because it's not the guy in the sky, it's the female in the sky. Same thing, right? Same thing, right? So now it's like God, goddess, universe, source, whatever you want to use, right?
Right.
I started to ask, like, what gives? Like, what am I missing, right? I mean, what is this that I'm missing? I know I can create things. I know I can live a good life. I mean, what's missing? And little by little, pieces started to fall in. And when pieces started to fall in and I started to merge the physical results, because I really believe we're in a physical form for a reason. Like we're here to live a physical experience. And I'm a stand that we live it in as much of a richness as we allow ourselves to. Right. So when I started to merge the two and I started to read the Bible from a very different perspective. So I'm like, how are we even having this conversation about religion? Because that's really not what I deeply get into, but that's what wants to be talked about. So it's great.
Right.
So Bible went along with my throwing away religion. I was like, I don't want to read Bible because that's the angry God in the sky.
Right.
But then when I did the healing, I can read Bible differently. And there is a lot of conversation in Bible around prosperity and how to be with prosperity, right? How to be of service in exchange of money and how to be of service in the world in a way that people actually want, because I believe everything comes through people. So everything we want, need, and desire comes through people. So how do we live? How do we serve? How to be in the world that people actually want to like exchange our energy and our gifts in exchange for money?
Right.
Yeah. And when I started to realize that, things just started to fall into place. And things always, right? There is always the next levels. There is always an evolution. There is always the next challenge. But when I merged the two together, it just became sweeter, and it just became more magical.
Right. Right. Yes. You know, that reminds me of a segment that I listen to quite often, and I'm going to try to find it really quick here.
Do it. I'm curious.
I'm going to share it with you too. After this segment, I'm going to send it to you, message it to you. But
I love it.
It's called Little Known Ways to Attract Money. And it's by Joseph Murphy. And the thing is, the way he refers to the Bible is way different. It's not taking things literally, but it's all on a subconscious level, and that things are not the way we have described the Bible all this time as like literal people and things like that. He puts everything into like the context of mind and things like that. And these were just it's hard for me to explain, but I'm going to send that to you. And it's, if you listen to it, you're going to, I like the way that that Joseph Murphy and Neville Goddard and another preacher from the 70s, his name, I forgot his name, but the way that they approach the Bible is way different.
Way different. I mean, it literally, I mean, the way I look at it now is it's like it's my guide, it's like guidance, right? Like it's a personal development, personal growth book.
Yes. And a lot of how they use it is like in a psychological type aspect, that all this stuff was just meant for us to look at it not the way we look at it, like actual people, but they it's, I can't think of the word, but
metaphors.
Yeah, it's like metaphorically. And we've in our current religions, we've taken it literally, like, you know, but the way that they break it down, it's just amazing. So I'm gonna send that to you.
If you ask some people, they you know, there are people who believe, and I'm not saying I'm not one of them, is that the Bible was presented to us a certain way a very long time ago, so we wouldn't be able to access this wisdom in a way that it was meant for us to have it, right?
And I remember, excuse me, his name was Reverend Ike, and he's different.
He's the only one. I know the other ones you mentioned. I don't know this. I don't know Reverend Ike. I'm gonna look him up. I love it.
And then look up one more book that I'm reading right now. It's amazing. It's by a man named Orson Swett Marden, and it's just amazing. Just the way he talks about basically just law of attraction way back then, because he was from like the early 1900s. Yes, or Orson. Orsen Marden, Marden. Yeah, beautiful.
It's great.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, those are the teachings that I started to follow, right? I started to follow and implement. And with now where we are with everything that's happening on planet Earth, I believe all systems are falling down. I believe the way we used to do things in all different industries is no longer going to be viable for us as we move forward. Now, what's happening is we get to own, what did we come here for outside of paying bills, right? And being under the authority and power of some kind of an outside authority. What did we come here for? We didn't come here for that, right? Like, we came here for some unique expression that's ours, that's our own and nobody else's, and nobody else. Even if you and I read the same books, right? You will talk about them very differently than I will, right? Because of who you are, your life's experience, and a whole lineage, right? So every single one of us is here for something unique. And right now, more than ever before, this is my belief, it's really important that we own it, like own the gifts. Very soon, creating something with our hands is no longer going to be something that makes a living. Like, so many jobs are going away, right? artificial intelligence, right? So many jobs are going away, and it's not even, this is just what's happening
Right.
everywhere.
No, there's definitely a shift, and it's not necessarily, change and unknown can be scary, to people, but I'm taking it as exciting. There's a lot of this time. There's more people, just to put it quite simply, awakening than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it to me has to do with the internet, because you got to remember, back before the internet, a lot of people didn't even wasn't even conscious of what to look for, or there was no way to find it. But here, now you can just pretty much, search self-empowerment or personal development, and then just start following these, and you'll start finding more and more information, and then now this resonates with me.
And it opens and it opens something, and all of a sudden it's like, we talk about the veils being lifted. Well, the veils are just the way we've seen things, because we've been told certain things a certain way. But like you said, right, with internet, totally right on with that, we can
programmed
access
a certain way.
right? Absolutely. But now we can access the, if like I said, I grew up in Poland. The only thing I ever knew when I was growing up is what I knew, because that's what I was introduced to. But I come to America and I'm like, whoa. And I already watched, like, we had MTV at the time, and 90210. So I could see on TV certain things, that there are other options, but I wasn't living in the environment. But now you can watch videos, you can have conversations, you can watch conversations, and all of a sudden, on top of the fact that there is scientifically, actually, we are in a different space. So we are moving through a different belt energetically. Earth is moving through a different belt energetically. I'm sure you know that. So we have more access to light. So that, combined with internet and us having more access to other paradigms, to other ways of looking at things, like, it's the time of awakening, the golden age. So
I believe so too. And I can see it. I can see it and feel it. And it's happening even within myself. Like I feel like a totally different person than I was 5 years ago. I mean, that's when I first started going through my transformation. And I'm just in a totally different space, mindset, thought currents, the way that I think about before I say certain words, because I know words are powerful. And thoughts are powerful, and imagination in your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, and your conscious mind, whatever you expose to your conscious mind, that's what delivers it to your subconscious mind. So be careful what I wouldn't have even known even things like that 5 years ago, but it's just amazing. And it's not coincidental that happened to me. And the thing is, some people, even in your perspective, some people choose to follow a path where they just stay where they're comfortable, or not really comfortable, or it's familiar. Well, you got to a point where it was uncomfortable, and you didn't want to stay where it was familiar. You wanted to get out of your own way. And same with me. I could have stayed the way I was. It was familiar. I knew even the, toxic parts were familiar. At least I knew what to expect, and I was used to it. And the growth and the transformation was uncomfortable, and it was scary at first.
And it still is, to a degree, right? I'm sure you stretch all the time. I know it's true for me, and I'm sure it's true for you.
No, I do.
Right? I'm constantly, it's like, what is the next level, right? Where do I get to go next? Where do I get to? So, I mean, even with everything available, so there are two kinds of people, right? Outside of even the awake ones. There are the awake ones who kind of know a little bit of this other way of living, but they're still so attached to the old paradigm that they still live in a conversation of tangible. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. How will it, what will it upheave? Like, what will happen in my life? Just really, really scared. And I have a lot of compassion for that. And there are people who just have no interest to have any access to it. They will remain asleep. And that's what works for them this lifetime.
Right. That's what they think works for them.
And there's good luck convincing them, because that's just how they have it.
Yeah,
So,
you won't. Yeah. Even so, I can say that I can attest to that, because I have close family members that are
yeah,
the same way, and
yeah.
they don't understand. And so it's
Mhm.
easier for them to attach some type of negative title to
Yeah.
me awakening, like, because they don't understand it.
Mhm.
And I get it. I hold compassion and love for them, because
Mhm.
I know forever. It's
Yeah.
just like when man first saw
Mhm.
fire, it scared them. They didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. That same type of mindset has been happening through the years. I mean,
Mhm.
even when people were different long ago, they would call them witches and
Yeah.
kill them and hang them, because they didn't understand. They
Right.
didn't understand.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the same thing now. People that are
Mhm.
in a certain mindset, that want to stay in that box, and they don't understand someone that's expanding, and
Yeah.
it's easier for them to to demonize it,
Mhm.
or to put a
Yeah.
negative title on it, or just to deny it, or no, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, because if you put a negative title to it, then you are putting a meaning on it. It's something you're not supposed to be. Like, it's easier to say, okay, this is bad, I'm gonna stay away, right?
Yeah,
And you
you
rationalize
justify
it. Just
you
absolutely
yeah, you
justify it.
justify
Mhm.
your lack of growth, really. I mean, they
Yes.
don't see it that way. They
No.
just justify them not
Yeah. Yeah.
coming out of that
Mhm.
that old paradigm, like you said, that
Yeah.
old mindset. So,
Absolutely. So things like, holding on to a safe job, or even though you are dying inside and you literally are getting sick of it, right? And then eventually becomes sickness, but you have a safe job, right? And again, this is not to condemn anybody, but
right,
people who are awake and aware and realize that something is off, that there is something waiting for them to step into, and they're so afraid still, right, that they're holding on to the old paradigm on money, right, not seeing money as something that flows and increases, and it's just expression of life and a tool for us to
right.
grow.
Energy.
They,
Yeah,
energy,
yeah.
absolutely, right. Yeah, they still see it as this limited, luck filled, right, something
Yep,
that
luck.
you, yeah,
Not enough to go
not enough.
around.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And they'll justify with those conversations not moving forward, not finding new ways, not opening up, not asking themselves those questions of like, are you really in peace and harmony with yourself, following something, right?
right, right.
And if it serves you, great, but if it doesn't, and those are the people right now that I'm excited for, because where we are, I mean, this is the time is ripe with opportunities. Those who are awake and willing to step forward and live on purpose and lead the way,
Right,
those are the ones, right, that right now the earth is waiting for, because
right.
where attention goes, energy flows. So the more of us put attention on what we are excited about, what we want to create, right? Harmony and creativity and expression and sharing of ideas and creating new systems, the more of us that actually engage in those conversations and find their way of being in that new system, the more we actually can assure that the earth will go on in a certain way.
You see right there, you just saying that just what comes to mind is just flow and non-attachment. And that's
Mhm.
part of the questions that I ask people too, other than it. Do you sincerely have peace with
Mhm.
not only what you believe, but how your life is going?
Mhm.
You know, are you living in fear of
Mhm.
being punished every minute? Or are you
Right.
empowered? Do you feel empowered, or do you feel helpless, like you have to beg this old man, like you said, in the
Yeah.
sky to
Yeah.
please do this? Or are you taking
Mhm.
the power that was given to you, that is in you?
Mhm.
The universe is in you, God is in you,
Yeah.
to take charge of your own self, use your own
Yes.
mind, your
Yeah.
own, words, affirmations, to create your own
Mhm.
energy, to create the life that you want, and to be in the space that you want to be in, instead of begging um,
Yes.
something in the sky to give it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Some people who follow, it's so funny. And you're so expressive about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so like visceral. It's amazing. Some people who even step into this space, they
Right,
still live from that perspective of like something outside of you is granting you what it is you are looking to live, or what it is that you came here to create. So when
right,
I talk to people about their purpose, right, And I use tools to like help discover what it is that's in us trying to come out. But I'm shifting the conversation of there is nothing outside of you that's going to give you a permission. Yes, we can ask for signs, we can ask for co-creation. I do believe that there are energies and guides, but all of them are really just an expression of ourselves. Right. So from a quantum physics perspective, right? Like nothing exists outside, or literally nothing exists outside of us. I don't even exist. Right. It's just all a focused energy, focused thinking that's creating experiences and images, right? All of it. So nothing exists until I say it's going to be that way.
Until you think it in. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why you're going to like, there's several segments by Neville Goddard where he talks about that. He talks about they believed it in. It didn't just happen. They believed it in, and that's when it was created. And wow, that's just amazing. And that's why there are different perspectives too, because whatever you really believe, I believe that's what you're going to create in your experience. So if you believe that you have this, like you said before, person that's always punishing you and that you're bad or this and that, then that's how your life is going to be. Going to be controlled by this feeling or this entity that is punishing you for everything that you do. And your life is going to show that. That's what you're setting your energy to.
And you know what I think in the end, what it is? It's giving up responsibility. It's not really willing to stand in responsibility for our creation. Right? Because then I can blame whatever entity I say is granting me permission or not granting me permission to do something. And if it works, great, I'm grateful. But if it doesn't, then I can at least blame. That's right.
This is why my life is a failure, because this entity won't allow it to do it. It's not really you have the power.
Exactly. It's not really standing in responsibility of I'm creating the things that are great and the things that are not feeling so great. And I get to choose, right? There isn't like this is another thing that I grew up with. It's like some people have this kind of a life and some people just don't. Some people have a lot of money and some people don't. Some people are lucky and some people aren't. Like I grew up in that kind of environment that believed that. And that's such baloney.
Yes, exactly. It is. And the more aware I've become, I realize how often that I use the words poverty mindsets. And when you're in that poverty mindset, that's what you're going to continue to recycle. And even when you're in actual poverty, you can still take your mind out of it and then change your circumstances. And it's been proven time and time again. And I tell people all the time, why do you think that some people that were born in the most destitute, impoverished environments become so great? They unknowingly tapped into something. It wasn't just a roll of the dice and they just were lucky. No, they actually start imagining something different and putting their energy into something higher instead of focusing on, well, I'm always going to be poor. This is just the way it is. No one else, the money is only for a selected few. When you stay like that, you stay like that.
Absolutely. And it's not an easy thing to do because, we live in a tangible physical world, right? So and it isn't even like knowing in your mind, like to me, it didn't start becoming true until I really felt it I felt it in my bones. And that's when things started to change. Like my reality started to change because I started to really feel it. It wasn't just a concept. Like it took a while for it to travel, right? And even now when I learn new concepts, I'm like, hold on, what? And then I play
Sometimes
with
it takes a while.
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer, never underestimate the power of planting seeds. So these seeds are this knowledge that you're exposed to, you're meant to be exposed to. You may not grasp it at that particular moment, but it
starts to grow and grow.
And then one day you'll, this is what this is. And now I'm connected with it, So that's amazing. And where this conversation led is just amazing, but we didn't get to that part yet where you help women entrepreneurs in creating their sacred success. How did you come about doing that?
Okay. So when I started to ask questions and I was led breadcrumb by breadcrumb to different ways of, okay, this is how you create life. This is what it's really possible, right? Opening up to conversation about spirituality and, quantum physics. At some point I was led to this moment in my life where I was advised to, and I was still like, what gives, and somebody told me to have my hands analyzed. So this is not like palmistry where somebody looks at your hands and they tell you the future. This is a scientific tool. Based on this tool, so it's actually, this is how it goes. The lines in our hands are the mirror pathways of the neural pathways in our brain. So how our brain is wired is what's reflected in the lines in the hand.
Oh, okay.
And the fingerprints are a message that when a soul enters the body, it leaves a message. Nobody has the same fingerprints, right? We already know that not one person has the same fingerprint as the other, which is a reflection of a unique way of that we are here to show up on planet Earth. So I had a conversation with a woman who was trained in a system of how to analyze hands. And she, in the conversation, within minutes, the truth started to open up from within me. Things that I knew about myself that I was just like, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me, because I was trained that wasn't me.
Right.
She started to ask me questions and led me to all of a sudden have a vision of a life that I'm like, that's me, but I don't know how do I even get there, because where I was and the industries I was working in were worlds away from what I was seeing. So I embarked on a mission to start creating my life. I said, okay, I don't know how, but I'll get support. I hired people, I got resourceful, and I started to get on a path. As I started to get on a path and created myself, I had the next level of, now you get to do it for other people. Right. So it was a knowing, right? Calling, knowing, whatever you want to call it. Now you get to do it for other people. And I put together everything that I went through and I said, wow, all these lessons that I have been learning, it's so I can now teach other people how to step on into their purpose, how to be who they came here to be at the soul level, right? Merge, like, don't work for money, be who you're here to be of service to humanity in a particular way, value.
Yeah.
Yes, value. Now, this is a huge part. Value what it is you are giving, right? Like, really stand for the worth and value of the frequency that you are delivering, because nobody else can do it like you. Nobody. So really value it, right? And yes. And let yourself be paid for it to a degree to which you desire, not need, but really desire, right? Like elevating the need. And it's been beautiful. It's been amazing. And I've been doing this, and it keeps opening up to the next level. And then the whole conversation of the new earth started to open up. And I said, that's why the people that I am inviting to discover and awaken their purpose and their value and their worth, they are the new earth leaders and creators. The new earth is birthed through us if we allow it, right? So they are the ones who are willing to let go of the 3D, the lower vibration, let go of the old paradigm, step into, even when it's scary, step into what is my next step? What am I choosing here? What am I creating here? Take responsibility for their creating. And again, align why they were birthed at this time into this physical form, whatever hologram we live in, it's still happening at this time right now in this timeline for humanity. Like, why is this expression showing up this way right now, right? So really own it.
You know what's beautiful?
Mm-hmm. Tell me.
That and you just hit on it directly. When you're following your bliss, your peace, your purpose, your passion, authentically following that, which service to humanity, and often it's through, it's developed from the life experiences and adversities that we have been through. But what my point is, you don't have to know all the steps. You just take a step in that direction. And you said one key thing, things keep opening up. And that's exactly, I bet that right there is me, just things are opening up. I don't have to continue asking, well, how or why. I just know, I just continue to do what I'm doing and, not just sitting idle, but, putting energy and focus and
Yes.
and taking action, and just things are,
Yes.
you know, opening up, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Like you said, it can be scary, but take that step, and the next step will illuminate when it's time.
Yep.
Just like a year ago, I wouldn't have even thought, you know, I just was just focused on creating what I've entitled self-empowerment music, inspirational hip hop music. And I wasn't even thinking about having a platform where I'm a host and I'm interviewing people. But then this voice starts speaking to me and just telling me I started researching, and it just happened. They said, just do it. And then here I am. And the other amazing thing is that you attract, you know, the circumstances, the needed wisdom, the needed people. You do. And it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. We all have, at the soul level, the way I see it, we all have agreements to come together. So if we allow ourselves to open to the path and be willing, the agreements that we've made before we physically, and this is in my human brain, right? Like the agreements we've made at the soul level.
Right.
Like if you watch that movie Soul, I don't know if you saw that movie Soul.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I loved how they depict.
I love that
right?
movie. And you can tell on awakened person wrote that movie. Like they knew, like other people probably just take it that don't know, just take it as entertainment and, oh, okay, that's nice. But you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, my wife and I were watching it and we looked at each other. We were like,
yeah. Yep. Amazing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So when we were these little droplets, you know, at the soul level, we've made agreements. We're like, hey, I'm going to come and I'm going to do this and we're going to do this. And it's not a guarantee. But if we, in my experience, and what I'm hearing in your experience too, it's when you open up and you just keep taking steps, all of a sudden you don't even know, but you're meeting these people and they're like, oh my God, I feel like I've known you forever and we have a great connection, right? And you can talk about things that are exciting and then create something that wouldn't have existed otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like here on this platform, there's so many people I've spoken with in the story that they've told me. It just exact same thing for me. I mean, you know, not saying that every single thing that someone says that, oh, it's exactly the same as me, but oftentimes, the way that they came to their transformation, the way things are happening, it really connects with exactly this my same story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And even if it looks different, right? There are pieces of it that's like, oh yeah.
Similarities.
Absolutely.
Similarities. Might not be the exact same, but similarities that you can say, oh, well, yeah, I came to a pivot point in my life. And then that's when I decided to start asking questions. And then I hear that a lot. And that's how I know that it's not coincidental that I'm hearing this.
No.
You know, that this is being, you know, I'm being made aware of this over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
we get reminders.
Yes, I often do. I mean, I can say so many things that I've thought or said or whatever. The next thing you know, I see it, you know, and it's like, I talk to the universe and say, you know, I thank you. Or, you know, I know you're listening.
Got it.
Sometimes it shocks me like, oh my gosh, that's what I just said. And there it is.
Yeah.
How can I take more control of that so that I can
channel it in a way. In a way that works. Totally.
How can I harness that power, that energy better? And my answer that I've got, just keep doing what I'm doing. And things will develop at the right time. When you're ready for it at the right time. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah.
And I love when you said you're ready, because there is such what does it mean to even be ready? And I'll tell you what I am learning is ready means that you are somebody who can handle emotionally, energetically, mentally, handle the responsibility of that next step. Right.
Exactly. You won't self-destruct yourself and hurt yourself and others. You know, so you're right. That's what ready means. You know, and I can I can say like some people that have acquired, like you said, a substantial an amount of money, they weren't ready for it, and they end up destroying their life. They weren't ready for that responsibility yet, you know?
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. One of the things
go ahead.
No, one of the things I talk about is being a responsible steward of money, right? So as an energy, money shows up in a physical form. Whether it's a bill or a credit card, doesn't matter. It's a form, right?
Right.
Being a responsible steward of that, and then you will be trusted, meaning you're just going to have more and more and more and more. And then you get to flow more and more and more in a very beautiful, special way. I believe that we're cleansing the system of money. The more people like you and I can allow money to come into our life.
That's the key.
Yeah. And because when we are investing it in something or spending it on something, we're doing it consciously and with love and with grace and appreciation. So now money flows a completely different energy out into the world. I'm like, we're cleansing the money.
Right. Circulating it. Yeah.
With a new energy. So yeah, it's so awesome. Yeah.
Wow. So yes,
we went so many places.
So many places, but it's all relevant to growth and expansion and just
evolution,
really just testimony and examples and just real life stories and everything, connected into this wisdom and knowledge and perspectives that you shared. I think that's what people are looking for. The real, not just, it's good to read. Like I'm an avid reader, but just to know that you've not only read, but you've actually incorporated your life experiences, and that's how you're bringing it to people. They want to see that, and I think that's where, yes, that's how I want to make my connection with people, is show them that this is some real authentic stuff I'm sharing with you to help your life, and through what I'm going through now or have been through, plus the awareness, the knowledge, and the wisdom that I've gained. That's what it's my purpose to share it with you. So that's how I do it. Yeah. So I know that when I upload this video, I'm going to put whatever links that you want shared in there. But while we're here, can you just tell us how can we find you and your sites or your passions? How can we find it?
Absolutely. So I'm on social media on different platforms. Just look for @Anna the Manifesting Artist. So @Anna _N the Manifesting Artist, and all different social media. I have the same handle. I have a Facebook group, Sacred Success, where I share like regularly. So those are the easiest way to find me. And the link is to a video that I made about the 5 steps that helped me understand what sacred success means. So I had success, right?
Sacred success. Wow. Yeah. I like that.
I had success, right? Like the tangible success. But what I was missing was the connection to the soul, right? Which is the sacred part.
Right. You know what? See, you just excite me. That's where the real happiness is.
Yeah.
You see, and that's what you were searching for. And oftentimes we place our happiness in society and especially in Western society, to things, but you have to have a balance.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, it has to come from the special place, which is connection to the soul, to spirit, to whatever you call it, right? Connection to this, to this something that's outside of the physical form. So yeah, so the link is to a video that I made about the 5 steps that I have used in my journey to identify, okay, so what does it look like when I am making money while being on purpose, not doing the thing that I'm here to do, but being a certain way that then opens up a path. So my purpose is the thing that shows up when path opens. It's not a fixed goal, but it's right. It keeps opening up over and over and over again. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the link.
Beautiful. Thank you. And before we conclude this segment, are there any closing words, ideas that you would like to share?
Yeah, what's coming through right now is just to remind everybody who's listening to stay focused on what you truly want, not what you're afraid of, not of what you're afraid of will lose, not of what you think is going to give you the false sense of security and safety, which is the old paradigm, but really tuning into your heart, because I don't care where we are, we always are getting the voices, we always are getting the nudges. Really focusing right now, it's so important. Keep focused on what it is that you want. Even if you don't physically, you said it even at some point, even if physically it's not there, focus on what you want, because otherwise everything outside of in a space right now is trying to grab our attention and steal it more than ever before and redirect it, right? The fear is thick. The more we focus, right? The more we focus on what we want, the more we tune into the conversations like your YouTube channel and the conversations you're having with your guests. I listened to several, they're fantastic.
Thank you.
The more we stay, the more we stay in this conversation.
This just took it to a whole nother level.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes,
Great.
very thankful. Thank you for coming on today again. Thank you for spending your time with me and just sharing your amazing energy and insight and just wow. This right here, even though this is a show, this is actually a school for me as well, and a school, and I don't know, it's just elevating my energy and just stimulating my mind. And I love having conversations like this where I can grow and expand and talk to people that are elevating, my energy. It's just beautiful. And I know that whoever watches this, and I know thousands upon millions will watch it, and they're going to feel the same way. I know it. So thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you,
again,
Luke.
and
My
thank
pleasure.
you. Yes, and thank you everyone for watching, and just share this with everyone. And I know everyone, like you said, they will get something different from it. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Enlightened, empowered, evolved. Peace and love, happiness, healthiness to everyone. See you soon.